What's up, Saab fans around the world, and welcome back to another video. So in today's video we are going to talk about all of this, an update on the gearbox situation from the last video, and a new feature on the engine which will solve probably all of my oil starvation issues that I've had previously. So just let's jump into it. So if we start with the gearbox situation, I was pretty gutted from the last video when I found out that the internals of this gearbox was basically trash all over. So I removed everything from inside of the gearbox, cleaned the casing, and I also found out that you could use the internals from a different manufacturer or a different car brand. So this has been placed in a BMW, so it's an F chassis, I think. It's a 2013 BMW 530 diesel. So it's a 3 liter V6 engine. So I bought this gearbox. This is from a Maserati, and it also has a 3 liter V6 diesel engine, and the only thing that is different on them compared to each other is the actual casing on the gearbox. So ZF was pretty smart when they built the gearboxes. They made everything like standardized, so it will fit between the different brands, but there will be some smaller differences. For example, the output flange. Now this flange is exactly the same as on this one, but what makes the big difference in cost is that the Maserati gearbox is nothing people usually use when they swap into cars, but they use the BMW one because this has the slimmest casing on all of the gearboxes. So all of the flange kits that people make are for this gearbox, but the good part is that I could use the casing, but the internals of the gearbox is just trash. So in order to learn something, I just picked it apart to see what it looks like. I've saved all the parts because some of it could be good to use as a spare part. But from what I did found was that these tooths doesn't look too good. I mean, they have been through quite a beating, and some of them are missing a little bit of material. So this is definitely no good. And the gearbox that I pulled apart, I mean, the oil pan was full of metal flakes. The gearbox was completely full of metal flakes. The oil in the gearbox was like completely black. So this is the mechatronics and the TCU. This is what controls the oil pressure inside of the gearbox. So in order for this to work with the MaxxECU, there needs to be a specific Bosch article number on this piece, and in the first gearbox that I bought, this was the wrong one. So the mechatronics and the TCU is no good in this gearbox, which sucked quite a bit. But I bought a rebuilt, refurbished, brand new mechatronics which has the correct number. So this is 026-0550074. So this will be compatible with the MaxxECU, so that's a good thing. So the coming week I will probably have this flashed with the correct program into it, so it will be compatible with the MaxxECU. But the good thing with the Maserati gearbox that I bought, first off, it was way below half the price of this one, so that's a good thing. And when I disassemble the mechatronics, now I keep them in a plastic bag so that it doesn't get any dust or debris on it. But if you saw this number, it was 550074, and the exact same is in this gearbox. So this is very good. So now I have two of them. So one I could sell easily and just keep the other one. But I will keep both as long as I have not programmed it, so nothing would be destroyed or whatever. And when I opened up this gearbox, it was so clean. The oil was really nice coming out. I have not cleaned off the inside. I have just opened it and then put the lid on it, but it's super clean. There is no like dirt or debris or anything. So the internals of this gearbox will be removed, pulled out, and inserted into this gearbox. So then we will have a working 8 HP gearbox. And if you don't know about this, the 8 HP gearbox is built up with all of these clutch packs. So you have a pressure plate, then you have a stack of clutches, and these are combined into the gearbox, which makes up all the different gears. So this is a gearbox that could take quite a beating if you service it. And the shifts, as you could see in the last video, are just super crisp, super fast. So I'm really excited to get this going. So that's basically it for the gearbox situation. So this just needs to be fitted into the car. So we will have a look at that a little bit later on. And what I'm waiting on right now is the output flange. Because when it comes to BMWs, they have different measurements. So here is the one that sits in the gearbox originally. This is what they call the large one. Then they have a medium one, and then they have a small one. And my prop shaft is running the medium one. So I have ordered one of these that came from the 8 HP 50 gearbox, which has the smaller bolt pattern, so it will be able to bolt up to my medium plate. So that all will be fixed. I don't think it will be too hard, but we will mock up the gearbox inside of the engine so you will see how it looks. The engine will have to come a little bit forward compared to what it was before. So I have to change the placement for the engine mounts a little bit. So there will be a little bit of work included in this, but I think it will be really, really good in the end. So let's talk about the engine. I have refurbished the engine. It got new rod bearings, new crank bearings, new crankshaft, new head gasket, everything new, sealed up, and this is the new edition. So this is a 3-stage dry sump pump. So this will probably solve all of my issues when it comes to oil starvation, because before I was running a wet sump, and probably the issue all the time has been that the height on the sump has been too shallow because of the placement and how it's being run in the car. You can't have a really deep sump as you run stock. So this is a good thing, because this will suck out all of the oil from the oil pan, and when you're running a dry sump you can have the oil pan really, really shallow, because you will not have a pickup in the pan. So that means that I could install the engine a bit lower than it was before, which is a good thing for center of gravity. But this has 2 scavenge stages, which sucks out the oil from the oil pan, and then it has 1 pressure stage. So the pressure stage is separate. But I have talked a bit with Jason, who is running a race car with a similar setup, but he has three scavenge stages and no pressure stage. So he only uses this pump to suck out the oil into an external oil tank and then connect it to the stock oil pump. So I think I will do the same, but I have to figure out what to do with the pressure stage. So here in the end you have a spring that you could adjust the pressure on the pressure stage. So I'm thinking if I remove the pressure stage, it will be good to use just as a scavenge stage instead. And the scavenge stages, I don't know if you could see this, but there is a hole down in there, so they are bridged together. So these two stages are combined. So I can block off this, just run an outlet right here, and it will be able to deliver all of the oil to the oil tank. But the pressure stage is separate, so I will need to connect these two in some way. So I guess you could just disassemble the pump and then machine a hole in this wall so they all will be connected, and you can run just a fitting in the middle one. I think that would be really good. And it will not sit like this. This is just temporary, so I could see how it will work. And what I'm looking for right now is a belt, and I need to find a smaller pulley. So this has 28 tooths, and it's 5mm right here and 2mm deep. So I really need to find a belt, and I need to make a custom fitting of a meeting wheel that would sit on the crank. You can see it doesn't line up perfectly as it is right here. So this will need to go a little bit further back, and then I will need to make a wheel that could sit here as well. But this is something that I'm really excited about, because this has been one of the major problems all the time of this build. So very happy and very excited about this. So we will see what happens. And now I will jack up the gearbox or the casing into the car. So you will see how it looks, because you can see it's pretty slim up here at the top, but at the bottom where the oil pan is, it becomes a lot wider. But the good thing is that this shallow part will be up in the car, and the pan will be like underneath the car, so it will stick down a little bit, but I don't think it will be a big issue. So you can see right here, I need to shave up the firewall a little bit here on the side, and the same goes for this side right here. But it actually is not very bad. I was scared that I was going to have to remove all the interior and just re-weld everything, but it seems that with a little bit of shaving of the edges, I will be perfectly fine, which is a good thing. So I'm really stoked and really happy about how it fits. And as I said, the engine will have to come a little bit forward compared to what it was before, but that will only enable a few different things. For example, I can run the oil filter in the stock position instead of using external lines and move the oil filter, which is also a good thing. So the coming week, a few things will happen. I will try to flash the ECU or the TCU so it gets prepared for MaxxECU. I will also try to pick up my MaxxECU Race standalone system, and then we will see what time I have to continue with the build, but there is very much exciting stuff going on. I'm super stoked on running the dry sump pump and get that up and running and see how it works, because that could be a really big game changer, and this together with the 8 HP gearbox will just be insane. So thank you guys so much for watching. Have a nice weekend, the little part that is left, and I will see you in the next one.